Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
We're just testing some sound there. All right. Everyone's. Wait a minute. See, get more people. Get our studio audience in. Let's give it another minute. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Just gonna make sure. Just gonna make sure you can hear.
Make sure you hear.
Check your volume on your computer. Sound should be working. Okay, let me know if you can hear me now. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, we're just gonna start. If you're watching now, or if you're watching later, thank you for tuning in, and hope that you had a great Shabbos, a good Shabbat, and everyone as well. And we're gonna get started. Get started with. Still can't hear me. One more second. Can you hear now? Let me know if you can hear me now. Okay, good. All right. So, hope everybody's well. Hope everybody had a great Shabbos, and that you're getting ready and you're learning and doing all sorts of things. Let's get over here. All right. So, let's kind of recap everything we did last week very quickly, and then we will go on to learn some new things in the Haggadah and more about Pesach, specifically Seder night. And hopefully we can teach you some new things and you can bring them to your Seder as well. All right. So we talked about how Pesach is all about showing how we went from being people who had no importance to being the most important people in the room. Hashem really showing us how much he cares about us and going through that process. It's not enough to just know it. Even if you're the smartest person and you know everything there is to know about the story of Pesach, it's not enough. Say hello. You have to experience it. You have to go through it, and you have to really feel it. So everything we're going to do at the Seder is going to be there to help us feel it and to experience it and feel what it feels like to be very unimportant, be a slave, and then to be the most important person in the world. So we're up to the next part of the Haggadah, famous part of the Haggadah, and that is the 4 sons. And the 4 sons really speak to this. First of all, the first person is the Chacham, right? He's the guy who wants to know all the details. He wants to know all the halachos and all really the details that there are to know. Then there's the Rasha. He's the one that couldn't care less. He doesn't want to include himself in anything and what's going on. Then there's the Tam, the one who just wants to know, doesn't really know how to ask such great questions. He's just asking simple questions. And then there's the one that doesn't even know how to ask. He doesn't even know what's going on, doesn't know what to ask. So, what's going on here? What's going through here? This follows along on how we're going through it, how I'm presenting it. It goes along very much on what we're saying, and that there are 4 types of people. There's people who want to know everything. They're really into it. There's people who want nothing to do with it at all. There are those people who they're interested, but they're not super interested, right? Okay, I'd like to know, but I'm not crazy about it. And then there's people who aren't one way or the other. They don't know whether it's something they should be interested or not. They don't know whether to ask anything at all. They're just very much, they're just there, just kind of sitting there, right? Right. So the Haggadah is going through and telling us that for each person, you have to talk to them in a different way. You have to get them involved in a different way. It's going to take different ways of getting them involved. For the Chacham, go into all the details for him, right? The more he wants more, so he can be more and more involved, and he can feel it even more. So go into all the details about it. Talk about everything. For that type of person, that type of child, you're going to want to go as many details as possible. For the Rasha, who doesn't even want to include himself, right? We want to let him know that if he's not going to be a part of it, he doesn't have any real importance. We tell him that if he was there, he wouldn't have been redeemed because he doesn't see himself as being important. And if he doesn't see himself as being someone that can be important, that could connect to Hashem and have an amazing relationship with Hashem, then he wouldn't have come out, right? And I think that could really speak to somebody, that if you point out to them that they really wouldn't be. They kind of almost be like, hey, if you don't do this, if you're not a part of this, then there won't be anything really in your life. Then that might speak to that type of person. Then there's the Tom, somebody who doesn't really this way or that way. He's not so interested in it. So for him, you talk to him like you tell him about the story. You tell him the story. You bring him in almost like you're a great storyteller and you want to captivate him and bring him into the story. And for that person, you're not going through all the nitty-gritty details, but you're telling a wonderful, amazing story that's going to captivate him, that's going to want him to listen and want more. And then even for the one that doesn't even know anything, you tell very simply, almost like in kindergarten, we tell a very simple story, and we don't go too into it for that type of person because we don't want them to lose interest maybe, and we want to bring them in. But in any case, all the Haggadah is telling us different ways in which to approach giving over the story and telling over the Magid, part of the Haggadah about the story, to different types of people, and how you can approach those people and to really pull them in and to get them involved in feeling how they're supposed to be feeling. Now, I want to jump to talk about, not jump. I kind of want to jump back. What we talked about at the end of last week. We talked about this special deal that Hashem made with Avraham Avinu. Hashem made a special deal with Avraham Avinu. And he told him, by the Bris Bein Basar, by the deal that he made, the contract he made with him, by the pieces of animals that the contract that he made with him, the deal, he said that you're going to have a people. There's going to be a nation that's going to come from you. And we said, Avram wasn't asking, how am I going to know, how do I know I can trust you that they're going to have a land and there's going to be a people? But he was asking, how are you going to do it, Hashem? What tool are you going to use to make my children and my grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren, what tool are you going to use to make them one people that they're going to always stick together? And so Hashem said, you know how we're going to do that? Yeah, you know how we're going to do that? We're going to apply outside pressure. Okay, and what does that mean? What does that mean? Very good. So this is what we said. And I don't know if we did it last week, but we're going to give a story. I'm going to give a mashal, like a parable, to compare it to, and then we're going to apply it to what we're talking about. So imagine the following scenario. You're at school, and you're in the schoolyard. Maybe you got a big schoolyard. Maybe it's a schoolyard that's fenced in. Whatever it is. Imagine you're at school, and maybe you know everybody in school. Maybe you don't. Let's imagine for a minute that you go to a really big school, and you don't know everybody, but you find yourself in the middle of the schoolyard one day, all by yourself. And this other kid kind of comes over. He's not really come over to talk to you. In fact, you don't know him at all, but he just kind of is in the same space as you. Next thing you know, the school bullies come over, and there's a pack of them. There's like 4 or 5. There's the one, the ringleader, the guy who's the main bully, and then he's got his followers. There's like the henchmen. They're like, yeah, let's get these kids. And they all come over, and they surround you and this other kid. You're surrounded. You don't know what to do. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what they're going to do to you. Maybe they have all sorts of plans that they're gonna hurt you, or they're gonna start calling you names or something like that. Okay, you can imagine whatever. And you find yourself with this stranger, totally surrounded by bullies. Now, what's going to happen with you and the stranger? I think I'm only talking to one person right now. So, So Yaakov's out there. Yaakov, what's going to happen with you and the stranger? How are you going to feel about that stranger now? Are you still going to be strangers? Are you still going to feel very distant from each other? How are you going to feel about that other person that these bullies are ganging up against you and this other guy? How are you going to feel about that? Right. Well, you're going to go from being total strangers to being almost like best friends, allies, as we say. Allies are where you have two people or two entities, and they get together to fight a common cause, or in this case, to fight a common bully. Right? So you and that friend, you and that stranger are now going to become, that's right, you're going to work together. You're going to start working together. Now, if you had been not surrounded at all, and you were just in the playground, you probably never would have done anything with this guy. But now that you have these outside forces, these evil forces of bullyism coming out against you two, you're going to work together. Very good. You're going to work together to fight off, ward off these bullies. So when things like that happen, when outside forces come in, see if we get there. There we go. Okay. Outside forces are coming in to get you. Okay. So you're going to be strangers in the land. You don't really know anybody. And those people are going to come out against you. They're going to try to hurt you. And that's going to bring everybody together. Because a lot of times as time goes by, families kind of drift apart, right? We might all be related, we might all be from Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but as time goes on, we kind of just drift apart. And you can ask yourself, how close are you to your siblings? You say, oh, I'm pretty close to my siblings. Okay. Well, how close are you to your cousins? Well, I know my cousins pretty well. I mean, I don't see them all the time like my siblings, but I know them pretty well. Okay. How about your second cousins? Oh, my second cousins? Yeah, I see them maybe once or twice a year. And how about your third cousins and your fourth cousin, fifth cousins? Eventually, that your family, your extended family, you're not really close with. You could probably walk by them on the street and you wouldn't even know them. So Hashem says, but you're all going to be in a place where you're going to have these bullies and they're going to come in. Okay. Bullies are going to come in and they're going to try to get you. Okay. And that's going to bring everybody together. That's going to bring everybody together. And because of that and that whole experience they're going to go through together, it's going to make them a single people. Now, there's this, the next part in the Haggadah, okay, talks about, or Baruch Shomer Haftachasu Yisrael. Blessed is the one who keeps his promise to the Jewish people. And that's Hashem. Hashem told Avraham about, by the bris bein habasar, he told them how it's going to happen. Yedoa Teda, you're going to know exactly how I'm going to do it because you're going to be strangers in a land that's not yours. You're going to become slaves. Ivdu v'inu osam, you're going to become slaved and afflicted by them for 400 years. And and then those people, I'm coming for those people, says Hashem. I'm going to get those people, okay? They're not going to get away with it. I'm going to get them. And then I'm going to take you out. You're going to go out. You're going to be great, right? There's a few things happening here, but we're going to go one thing at a time. And then the next part is famous Vihi Sheyamda, right? We go into Vihi Sheyamda. I don't know if there's how many tunes there are. There's some new ones. There's like a new tune, recent years, and there's some really old tunes. I don't know. I've only been at a few different people's seders, so maybe you have a different tune than I have. Anyway, Vihi Sheyamda. Okay, we cover the matzah, lift up your cup. You got wine. Maybe you don't have wine because you're not allowed to drink wine. You got some heavy grape juice, really heavy grape juice. Gonna keep you up all night. That's sugar. Get a good sugar rush. Anyway, pick up that cup and says, "The Hisham Dalavoseinu. This is what has stood by us, by our forefathers, and by us. Sheloecha bilvad amar oleinu l'chalaseinu. But it's not only the one that came up to try to destroy us, right? Ella shebachol dor vador ondim aleinu l'chalaseinu. Every generation since Mitzrayim, there have been people who come up to try to destroy us. Hashem always protects us. Now, what Hashem was telling Avraham was not that it's going to happen one time, okay? Not just one time, but many times. Okay, maybe this guy here. Okay, he looks pretty mean. This guy here. It's not just one time that's going to happen, but every single generation, Hashem is going to do this to us. Now, maybe you know, maybe you don't know Jewish history, but history is pretty rough on us Jewish people. It has not been easy. There's always been people that come out and try to harm us in one way or another. And it's not, well, it seems like that's a bad thing. In many ways, there are bad parts about it. But at the same time, it's what keeps us together. It's what keeps us as one people and close to each other as we grow larger and as the families spread out, especially in times where Jewish people don't live in one place, they live all over the world. Things like this, where people come against us in one way or another, as we'll talk about, that keeps us all together. And so Hashem uses this. Hashem does this so that we stay together. We stay together as a Jewish people, and we stay close to each other. Because otherwise, unfortunately, we drift apart and we wouldn't stay as a people. But we always have to remember and know that Hashem cares about us. We're very important to Him. So Matzilenu miyadam, He's always going to save us and protect us ultimately. And then we go now into two examples of how you can see this working. Two examples. It says, "Say lumad, go out. Let's see a practical example. Let's see how this works. Ma bikesh Lavan ha'arami la'asos liYaakov Avinu. Go and see what Lavan the Armenian, wanted to do to Yaakov, our forefather. Go and see what he wanted to do. Come here. Yes. Okay. Go and see what Lavan wanted to do. You got to go and see it. Okay. You got to go, and you got to see it. You got to see it. Go, walk away. Go and see it. Okay. Go and see what Lavan wanted to do. 1 second. What does Lavan have to do with anything? Why are we talking about Lavan? Why are we talking about Lavan? Well, let's go on. Let's see what happened. Sheparo lo gazar ella ala zacharim, v'Lavan bikesh la'akor sakol. Paroh, hope you know Paroh. He's very key to the Pesach story. Paroh's no simple guy. Very, very important person. Really is. Lo gazar ella ala zacharim. Paroh made a decree, terrible decree, against the boys, against the men. Okay? Yes, against the men. What do you want to do? He wanted to get rid of any Jewish boy baby that's born. But Lavan, bikesh la'akar sakol. Lavan, he wanted to destroy everything. Okay? Well, is that what happened? What happened with Lavan and what happened with Paroh? What happened with the story of Lavan and Yaakov? And what happened with Paroh? And why are we taking this whole detour here? Why are we talking about Lavan? Why are we talking about Lavan? Good question. Why are we talking about Lavan? So, we're going to go into this more in the next video, but we're going to touch upon it here. That is, there are two ways in which Hashem sends these other people to come against us. Okay? There's the bear. Maybe they'll say that's one type, the bear. Okay? Then there's the bobcat. That's a bobcat. That is. Yeah. Okay? Two ways which Hashem does this. There's the Paroh Way. There's let's gang up on them and let's afflict them. Let's really hurt them. Let's make them suffer. And then there's the Lavan Way. And the Lavan Way is I'm not going to hurt them. I'm not going to hurt them physically, but I'm going to destroy the Jewish people by making them a part of my people. This is like Hanukkah, like the story around Hanukkah, where the Jewish people, there's no harm that's against them from the Greeks, the Yuvanim, the Greeks. They didn't want to harm us physically, well, as long as we didn't do a few things, as long as we didn't learn Torah, practice bris milah on Shabbos. Hey, we won't hurt you, no problem. But they want us to become like them, so we stop being a Jewish people and we just become a Greek people. This is the way of Lavan. We're going to talk about this more in the next video and go through the story of Lavan. That's the way Lavan wants to do it. Paroh wants to say, let's just totally get rid of them. Gotcha. Kick them out, destroy them physically. And Lavan says, no. We're going to get rid of the whole thing, right? Because Paroh, hey, you could try, but there'll always be some people left over, right? Lavan says, we're going to destroy them totally, but we're going to destroy them by making them stop being Jewish, make them be more like us. And so, in that sense, while it seems like Paroh's worse, right? Paroh had this decree against the men, against the Jewish boys. It wasn't as bad as Lavan. Lavan had his decree against everyone. He wanted everyone to assimilate. I don't know if you've ever heard that word. Assimilate. That means you become like me. You stop dressing like you and acting like you, and you be more like me and be one of my guys, be one of my people. That's like you're standing in the back to the story. You're standing in the court in the schoolyard with the stranger, and the bullies come over and they say, "Well, today we're not going to beat you. We're not going to hurt you today. We're thinking something different. Why don't you come join our gang? Be a member of our gang. Yeah, be one of the bullies. Stop being one of the good guys. Be one of the bullies." Yeah, right? Stop being one of the good guys and be one of the bullies. Yes. Okay. And that's another way, because if you start being like the bullies and you stop being one of the good guys, then you're not you anymore. You're just another one of the bullies. And that's almost worse, right? Yeah, we might get hurt by the bullies sometimes. They might hurt us. It might really hurt. It could really hurt. I hope that never happens to you, but that could really hurt. But you're still you, right? You haven't changed, and you're still the great person that you are. But if you become one of the bullies, well, yeah, you just, right. Almost like I'd rather be beaten up than become one of those low-life bullies. Because if you're part of their group, that's it. There's no more. There's really no more you anymore. You're just like somebody else, and that somebody else is just a bad person. And we'll talk about that story. We'll talk about that story later. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So now, very good. Yep.
Oh, you monster.
Oh, we don't want to be one of the monsters. Do you want to be one of the monsters?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. This guy would rather be one of the monsters than one of the good ones. Okay. So that's the end of the first part. And now I want to jump to our second part of our video that we always do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That is an important, come here, an important
Okay.
halacha.
Halacha.
Halacha. Very good. Ellie,
Very
let me
good.
ask Ellie. Let me ask you. This is Ellie. He's one of our studio audience guests. Let me ask you. Where on the day before Pesach starts? Wait, what are we gonna eat?
We forgot snack.
No, okay. On Pesach night, the seder night, what are we gonna eat? What's special? For
Matzah.
Matzah. Excellent. What is matzah? Very good. Matzah.
Matzah.
Now, are we allowed? No.
Chametz.
Excellent. No chametz. Chametz is very
Yucky.
bad. Very bad on Pesach.
And
Yucky. I think you like chametz. Chametz is pretty good. You like pizza?
yeah.
Okay, pizza's chametz.
No.
So we're gonna eat matzah by the seder. By
No.
Pesach.
Pizza.
Okay. We're gonna eat matzah by the seder.
No, pizza.
Pizza. Now, before the seder happens, we are not allowed to eat matzah. So this is the halacha of the day. You're not allowed to have any matzah from erev Pesach until seder night. Now, some people have a minhag that goes even beyond that, and that's 30 days before Pesach. 30 days before Pesach, we don't have any matzah. We don't eat matzah 30 days leading up to Pesach. And that's so that the matzah, the first matzah that we have at the seder, should be special, we should be wanting it so badly, that matzah. I mean, at the end of Pesach, after the 7 days, I don't think many people want matzah anymore, although I still like matzah. But that first matzah, that you really gotta want to have that matzah. Okay?
And kumitz.
And kumitz. Okay? And kumitz. Well, so we're not allowed to have any matzah before the seder, and the seder starts after nightfall. So don't be eating any matzah. Don't, like, sometimes, because you can't have chametz, you can't have matzah. So then what are we going to have? So maybe you'll have potato kugel, or you'll have soup or something like that. Don't eat it with matzah. I know you just want to get that matzah, the crunchy, crispy, plain shmura matzah or machine matzah, whatever it is. Can't have matzah until the night of the seder. So no matzah until the night of the seder. If you do, this guy might come to get you. You don't want this guy to get you. No matzah until the seder. All right? So stay tuned for tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to tell over the story of Lavan. And by the way, Lavan isn't just some character. If you think about it, Lavan is actually. Well, we'll get that tomorrow. Okay. We're going to tell over the story of Lavan. We'll talk some more about Pesach. I hope everyone's doing well, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Is it done?